In the small village of Eldridge, nestled between dense woods and misty mountains, lived a blacksmith's apprentice named Rachel. He was a tall, lanky boy with calloused hands and a smudge of soot always lingering on his cheeks. Rachel had been taken in by old man Wyneth, the village blacksmith, after losing his family to a fire that consumed their humble cottage. Wyneth, a gruff but kind-hearted man, had taught Rachel the art of forging metal, but Rachel's heart often wandered beyond the forge, yearning for adventure. One rainy afternoon, as Rachel swept the forge, his eyes caught a glimmer beneath a pile of scrap metal. Curious, he knelt down and unearthed a peculiar key. It was unlike any key he had ever seen, made of an otherworldly material that shimmered with hues of green and gold. Intrigued, Rachel turned it over in his hands, feeling a warmth radiate from it, as if it pulsed with a life of its own. "What do you have there, boy?" Wyneth's voice broke through his thoughts. Rachel quickly hid the key in his apron, but Wyneth's sharp eyes caught the movement. "Show me," he demanded. Reluctantly, Rachel revealed the key. Wyneth's expression shifted from curiosity to alarm. "You mustn't toy with things you don't understand, Rachel. That key is said to open doors to realms beyond our own, realms best left undisturbed." "But what if it leads to adventure?" Rachel protested, his heart racing with excitement. "Adventure?" Wyneth scoffed. "More like danger. There are stories, legends of an ancient evil that seeks to cross into our world. This key could be the very means for it to do so." Ignoring Wyneth's warnings, Rachel slipped the key into his pocket, its warmth comforting him. That night, he lay in bed, the key burning a hole in his mind. The urge to explore was overpowering. He decided he would discover the key's secrets, come what may. The next morning, after gathering his courage, Rachel ventured into the woods where he had first found the key. He wandered for hours, drawn by an invisible force, until he stumbled upon a massive, ancient door standing alone among the trees. Its surface was adorned with strange symbols, and it radiated an ethereal glow that pulsed in rhythm with Rachel's heartbeat. With trembling hands, he inserted the glowing key into the lock. As he turned it, the door creaked open, revealing a swirling vortex of colors that beckoned him inside. Heart-pounding, Rachel stepped through, leaving the world he knew behind. He found himself in a realm bathed in twilight, where twisted trees loomed overhead and shadows danced with malevolence. Strange creatures skittered at the corners of his vision, their eyes glowing like embers. Rachel felt a chill creep down his spine, but he steeled himself, reminding himself of his mission. "Adventure awaits," he whispered. Pushing deeper into the realm, as he wandered, he encountered landscapes both beautiful and terrifying, a field of flowers that whispered secrets, a river that flowed with liquid silver, and mountains that loomed like ancient sentinels. However, darkness lurked in the corners. Rachel stumbled upon a village of twisted souls, their faces frozen in expressions of terror. They spoke of a dark entity, a being that fed on fear and despair, growing stronger with each soul it consumed. Rachel's heart raced. This was the ancient evil Wyneth had warned him about. Determined to confront the darkness, Rachel pressed on, the glowing key clutched tightly in his hand. The further he ventured, the more he felt the key's warmth intensify, guiding him through the twisted terrain. It was as if the key had a mind of its own, leading him toward his destiny. In the heart of the realm, Rachel discovered a massive castle, spires piercing the sky like jagged teeth. The air crackled with malevolence as he approached. Within the castle, shadows flickered, and the air thickened with an oppressive force. Rachel steeled himself, knowing that this was the lair of the ancient evil. As he entered the grand hall, he found the dark entity waiting, a figure cloaked in shadows, its eyes glinting like shards of glass. "Welcome, young apprentice," it hissed, its voice echoing like 1,000 whispers. "You've come seeking adventure, yet you stand before your doom." Rachel's heart raced, but he stood tall. "I won't let you harm my world. I have the key, and I will use it to stop you." The entity laughed, a sound that chilled Rachel to the bone. "That key is a mere trinket, boy. You think it can unlock the power of the realms? You know nothing of its true nature." In that moment, the key flared to life in Rachel's hand, illuminating the hall with a blinding light. He felt its power surge through him, emboldening his spirit. "I know enough," Rachel declared, summoning every ounce of courage he had. "I will not let you cross over." With a swift motion, he raised the key, channeling its energy. The shadows recoiled, and the entity screeched in rage. A beam of light erupted from the key, striking the dark figure. It writhed in agony, its form shifting and distorting as the power of the key pushed against it. "No!" the entity roared. "You cannot defeat me. I am eternal." "Not if I have anything to say about it," Rachel shouted, his voice steady. He focused on the warmth of the key, envisioning the realms it connected. With a final surge of determination, he twisted the key, unleashing a torrent of light that engulfed the castle. The shadows dissolved into nothingness, and the entity's screams faded into silence. Rachel felt the ground tremble beneath him as the realm began to collapse. He turned and ran, racing back through the twisted landscape, the key lighting his path. As he reached the ancient door, he leaped through just as the world behind him shattered. He landed back in the woods, panting and breathless, the key still warm in his hand. He looked back at the door, now just a tree with a gnarled trunk, the glow gone forever. Returning to the forge, Rachel found Gwyneth waiting, concern etched on his face. "I was worried sick about you," the blacksmith exclaimed. Rachel held up the key, now dull and lifeless. "It's done. I stopped the ancient evil from crossing into our world." Gwyneth's eyes widened. "You truly did it?" "I did," Rachel replied, his heart swelling with pride. "But the adventure isn't over. There are other realms out there, and I know I'm meant to explore them." With newfound resolve, Rachel began to forge his own path, not just as an apprentice, but as a guardian of the realms, ready to face whatever horrors and wonders awaited him in the dimensions beyond. The glow of the key might have faded, but the fire within him burned brighter than ever, igniting a passion for adventure and the fight against darkness that would guide him for years to come.